What up, y'all? Welcome back to another installment.
Yeah.
There he is. There's the energy we need. Man, it's been a day.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another installment of Something Creative. I am one of the I'm one of the co-hosts. I'm one of the co-hosts, Josh Gons. This is the homie.
I don't think we had one smooth one yet. I don't think so. I don't think we had one
This is the homie Worst Lugo. Worst Lugo pulled up on me. We are currently live on the Twitch stream. Shouts to twitch.tv/JoshyGons. We run deep on Twitch. We're live on there a few times a week. Not we as in me and this side, everything's mirrored. Lugo and I, but we're building on Twitch. Thanks for pulling up to the chat who's live with us right now. If you're watching this currently live, we're Thursday evening, nighttime. I got
it's
a flight
usually Thursday. It's usually Fridays.
Usually Fridays, or that. I mean, if I feel like it's gonna be a variable because I'm starting to travel a little bit more consistently. I got a flight at a very early time tomorrow, but we're making this work. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching this Saturday. Shouts to the stage crew because this is going up on Cam on Stage Studios YouTube. Thank you if you're watching it here. But today we're talking about people pleasing.
Woo!
Oh, we're talking about people pleasing. Not
Down.
solely on the sense of personal life, but also how it may bleed into your work life and your work ethic as well. Couple shouts to the chat right now. Joy, how we feeling? Welcome to the chat.
Shouts to the chat. Shouts to Wisebot. Always in
This
there every
guy.
week, man.
This guy.
I'll never let that go.
Shouts to Abby, the people's mod. Girl Got Game, how we feeling? Yeah, man, let's jump into it. Wisebot's in the chat. New status: me versus people pleasing with Where's Lugo.
Yes, sir.
Got a shout out by Wisebot, Lugo.
Wisebot, man.
Man, all right, Lugo. So let's
break it down. Let's
jump into
define.
it. First of all, what do we talk about here on this podcast, man?
Man, you put me on the spot, but all right. We talk about, as creatives, how we maneuver through life as creatives, essentially.
Love it. That's concise. We love it. I realized I left my Rima paper here because I just got a printer because I had to print some stuff out for my taxes, and I'll probably never use a printer again.
Man,
Anyway, that's
I
neither
know.
here-
I did my taxes the other day, man. That took all day.
Lord Jesus.
But
Have
moving
mercy.
on.
Yep. Girl Got Game said she's feeling triggered with this topic. I'm triggered just talking about this topic. Before we're even getting into the full conversation on it, because I'm dealing with some situations around this topic. But sometimes you got to face them head on. And
Yes, sir.
I'm working through some stuff.
And
Anyway,
nothing like facing it head on publicly.
that's right. That's right. Nothing better. All right, Lugo. Since I decided the topic, have you or do you identify with people pleasing?
I do, but it's not in a general sense. I'm definitely an overextender. I'm definitely the type of friend. Any situation, I've always been known, at least myself, any relationship, whether that's romantic, friendships, family, whatever, I've always been known at least for myself and my own mind, that I care more than the other person does. And that's because I really like to please. Like, I'm like, yo, what am I doing? Want to make sure I'm doing everything people pleasing. But I wouldn't say that I'm generally a people pleaser.
Okay.
It's for the people I care about. But for the people I care about, it's I would say yes, because there has been times where I cared about people that I shouldn't have cared about. And hey, man. So I guess yes, generally yes. I would say generally yes.
I feel that. I think for me, it's like a mix of a few things. For me, like, there was a point when I was just starting out professionally where, like, I wanted to be everywhere. I wanted everybody to be happy. I always had a fear of hurting people's feelings based off of their interpretation of their perception of me.
Mm-hmm.
So how it affects me in my workplace, though, or how it used to, I should say, how I'm growing out of it, was that I would always overextend myself, even for like a lower rate. Like, oh, I want to make this work for you, so like, does this work for you? No, without even like allowing like a fair banter. I might even just
Yeah.
come in with low because I don't want people to be like, oh, this dude's tripping, with like a low rate. But I feel like I would always overextend potential services without even fully processing the capacity that it might take to complete that job for that rate, the amount of time,
Mm.
for the
I
sake
think
of making a client happy with putting that above my own piece.
yeah. I think for so I like to break things down.
Break it down,
So
man.
for my work, I would say the root of it from when a time and place when I was doing that a lot, where I was like, like I would be fine underselling myself
Mm-hmm.
to people please the client or whatever. It was rooted in the lack of confidence I had in myself at the time, or lack of confidence in my skills. So I would say that definitely stemmed from that lack of confidence of, and I would even say, yeah, it's a lack of confidence, but just literally just lack of experience. Cause it's just like the first time, the first few clients, you're not sure how to maneuver, how
Mm-hmm.
to negotiate.
Yeah.
You're just not comfortable in that area. It's a foreign language you're learning to speak, and you're just like, all right, how should I do this? Let me just undersell myself, and just it is what it is. And I know for a lot of I know client works. I mean, even now, I would say I'm in a fairly good spot where right now I can say no. I'm just like, all right, nah, I'm not doing that.
I feel like outside in, looking at your situation, you're in control.
Yes,
You're not
currently
just going
in
with the
my
flow
state, yes.
because this is what's scheduled. This is what is popping up in the path, and I need to take everything because I need to pay these bills. Or
Yeah,
it's like the fear of falling short. Or like, I want to say yes for relationships, and I don't
yeah.
want anybody to be unhappy with like a decision that I might make if I say no.
Wait, what? Say that last part.
I don't want anybody to be unhappy with the decision that I might make if I say no. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you're like, yo, I got this opportunity for you. And I say no because I just might not want to do it. Not necessarily if I'm unavailable to do it. Like if I got Sunday off, right, and that's the only day
Mhm.
that I might not schedule anything. Because that's my day of like a mental break, a mental like I'm gonna take a step back, just chill. I literally don't want to do anything but stay on the couch,
It's a Sabbath. It's a
watch
Sabbath.
watch
Yeah.
whatever, catch up on Avatar,
Hey,
um,
hey, hey, hey.
watch some Twitch streams, literally whatever. But if I'm like, man, I want Lugo to make sure, I want to make sure that Lugo could count on me for anything else in the future as well. Let me just take that, even though I might not want to do it. And
Mm.
even though I might not deep down want to do it, or like, man, I know if I feel that day with work, my rest of the week's going to be cooked Monday through Saturday until the next Sunday, unless I do this again.
I definitely agree because I know, like, for me, when it comes to the homies, bro, I don't care what I'm doing. It just is what it is. I overextend myself to
Mm-hmm.
the extremes
Yeah.
because it's just like those are the homies. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It is what it is. But if it's like a kind of like one of those friends that nah, bro,
Mm-hmm.
nah. But like the homies, like, bro, like other day you hit me up for color grading. It's like, nah, bro, I got you tomorrow. No stress. I
I
got you.
appreciated that, by the way. I still owe you money, but keep going.
Nah, man, nah. But like that type of stuff, bro, homies hit me up. I mean, any of my I'm usually the guy like people hit up like, yo, I'm thinking about buying this.
Mm-hmm.
And people usually hit me up like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, I can hop on a quick 15 and then it ends up turning into 2 hours or whatever. But I just been always known as that quote unquote friend, rather work relations, whatever. So I think now what I'm trying to do is trying to wean out the people that are just like, not even necessarily because I'm not a person like here's the thing with people pleasing, right? Because there's I think now I'm more self-aware of my people pleasing. So I'm able to sit back and look at myself and said, okay, I am going to people please and I know the consequences if it's not reciprocated.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Versus back then, when you would people please, whether that's work, anything, and things aren't reciprocated, you kind of get hit like, yo, like what's up? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You're kind of like, yo, what's good? Like, yo, I helped you out for this, you know what I'm saying? You can't help me out with this.
Yeah.
Or just that energy, just the energy in general.
Right. Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, I feel that, but and then you kind of start questioning people's intentions when that happens, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, you kind of only wanted me around for like, scratch my back, I scratch your situation. Then you start like kind of heat checking if that's a friendship.
And it's not even scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's just like, yo, scratch my back.
Right.
That's it.
Yo, I got this itch. No, for this itch is here again. Like,
yeah,
yo,
facts.
If you can help me out.
And it's man. Like, now I'm at a point where it's like, because I am such a people pleaser inside, I'm at least able to recognize it and be like, okay, I am going to overextend myself. I know the consequences of it, and I'm okay with the consequences.
Right. And I definitely think there's still that balance.
Yeah.
There's still that balance because you're going to hold your friend, you're going to hold the homies down, you're going to hold your family down.
100%.
Like, and sometimes that might cost your peace for a little bit, but at the end of the day, like, if it's for family, unless it's like traumatic, you're not going to put yourself in a traumatic situation, but that's that balance that I'm talking about, like, finding. Exactly. But for me personally, like, people pleasing is like I don't want to make it sound dramatic, but it's a generational trauma. Like, my dad will literally give the shirt off of his own back to somebody else who needs it, even if that's my dad's last shirt. like and which isn't a bad thing because that's how he was brought up in terms of like, yo, treat people the way you want to be treated. It's also theological in the sense too.
It's honestly a great thing, but it's like going back to the analogy. He gives us his last shirt, then his own son looking for a shirt. He's like, oh man, I ain't got a shirt. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So it's kind of like finding that, like making sure it's the right people you overextend.
Yeah, no doubt. And like the right people, and like I said, finding the balance to still make time for yourself, to still be boundaries. Okay, I would hold you down, but this, like, I got this, and this going on. I just can't even exert that energy for anything else during that day, during that time, unless it's for me, right? Yeah. Because that is that's what I'm growing to get out of this cycle, this manic cycle of why am I unhappy, but I'm doing whatever I can to make everybody else in their own peace and their own happiness, right?
I think it's really tricky to navigate when it's like, because me being my experience with people pleasing, your experience with people pleasing, if like, let's say you hit me up, blah, blah, and I say, yo, I'm busy, I know you'll respect that and be like, oh no, this, you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, whatever, for whatever reason. But I've had my situation and work situations where I had to deal with people who never had or aren't people pleasers in general. So like I've had to say no, and they take it some sort of way, and it's like, nah, bro, I just like, balance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that's when it becomes difficult, and that's when your people pleasing discipline is tested. Cause it's like, oh man, if I say no, they're gonna feel a sort of way now.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it's like, oh man, like.
Well, and I think there's an anxiety that comes with that too, right? It's paired with that fear of the fear of perception of how people perceive you, you know, and it's all like, for me, those three things are all weaved together, of like the people pleasing based off that perception, or the fear of a potential perception of a narrative that might not even exist, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Literally.
oh man, if I was in that position, I might be sadder, I might be madder, I might have the response of like, man, this dude don't really F with me like that anymore.
Yeah.
Or like this and this, without even taking the consideration that like, yo, people grow in a different direction, unless you do something foul and your heart changes, you know?
Yeah.
But most of the times it's not out of pocket if you're moving with the right intentions. You know, if you're moving with yo, I'm trying to, like, I'm being a little selfish, but also this is what I'm trying to build out of. This is what I'm trying to come out of the hole.
And what I'm learning is that, honestly, I'd rather have that than the counter, because the other extreme is you're being burnt out, pretty much overextending all the time. Then at the end of the day, you feel like you're just being taken advantage of. It's just you're in a bad mental state, and then it's just a whole ordeal, rather than the flip side, and it's just like, oh man, that person doesn't F with me.
Right. But I could see both sides too, though, right? Because for years you paint a picture of this is who I am, and this is how you present yourself to people. For years, this might be how a friendship was foundationally based off of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so their perception of you was just like, I called, they answered, action done. But that's not necessarily. And if that's not who you want to be anymore, if that's not what you're trying to, that overextension, you know, if they might only know that version of yourself, you know, and and I think any friendships in general, work relationships as well.
And I would say for me, I don't know if you're this type of way, but it's like, I don't typically reach out for help unless I haven't exhausted all my resources first. You know what I'm saying?
So no doubt. I'd never ask for help, and that's one of my faults.
Exactly. So that also plays a line with the people pleasing thing, because generally I'm gonna be the friend that's not really asking for help in general, and then I have homies who ask for help, and then that's that whole mindset where it's like it's a false narrative that you build in your head. It's like, oh, people are just taking advantage of me. But it's like, I know if I asked them for help, they would help.
No doubt. I got people that literally like, yo, I know you're not gonna ask for help, but no, you can ask me for help, right? And it's still easier said than done. Because a part of it is like asking for help sometimes. I used to identify that as like, yo, if I ask for help, that means I can't do this for myself, which means it's a weakness, which means they might see it's a weakness and they might hire somebody that can do everything. Devil. There he goes.
Hey, man.
For real, though.
Straight up.
And I think that has its own tie on the professional side as well, right? And we've talked about this, like, being able to bring homies on the team who enjoy doing that role is important. Yeah. And sometimes you got to let go of not even necessarily like that ego or that pride that you're talking about, to be able to ask for help and be like, yo, I'm going to let you shine in this role. This is what you're passionate about. But at the end of the day, that takes a lot off in itself of trying to do everything for that one result that, I mean, isn't necessarily practical for you to put all that stress on and to alter your own peace based off of maybe just proving it to yourself at the end of the day, right?
Yo, people pleasing is a crazy thing, because I know even for me, like, it almost gets to a point where it's like, I find more fulfillment in letting my homies thrive than I do myself, to the point where I might even neglect myself.
No, me too.
And then it's like, it really is like you said, it's about finding that perfect balance, which is impossible to get, but it's like, it's trying to find that balance, because you flip on each side either way to a degree, it's gonna affect you in some way, shape, or form with people pleasing or overextending. Yeah. If you don't do it too much, then you feel like crap, because you're like, oh man, I'm not helping my homies out. Then you help your homies out too much, and you're like, man, they just taking advantage of me.
Yeah.
Man. Whoa, this is triggering. Yes.
Yeah, Girl Got Game. Once again, shout out to the chat that we're reading some of the comments back. They're watching this live on Twitch right now being Thursday. So feel free if you guys want to. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's been out. It's not live, but if you do want to hop in
If
the
you
live
guys
chat,
want to contribute to these conversations, feel free to join.
Yeah, growing our game. This is mad triggering, even like I said for me, because I mean I've been struggling with people pleasing for years, but I feel like I just really was aware of it over the past year, more specifically like the past 6 months. Shouts to therapy, but doing the work though was something I still feared of, because it's one thing you can be self-aware of mad stuff that you're dealing with, right? But starting to make changes towards things that you're self-aware on that you want to be growing out of for your own peace and your own selfish benefit is gonna ruffle some feathers sometimes. And
because like healing in itself, like I know for me, like, you know, people think healing is like, oh yeah, you just gotta feel it, you gotta, you know, cry it out, whatever, blah blah. Okay, you need to go through that process, heal. It's like true healing is those actions that come after that, and that's when you're actually tested. Because then if you go through this process, I'm gonna do a breakup because it's the easiest analogy, right? Let's say someone dumps you, you're crying, blah blah. You gotta go through the healing process. It's been months and months. Boom. Okay, yeah, I'm in a good state. Boom. I let it go. I'm over it. And then you go right back into the same steps that led you in this thing. That whole healing, quote unquote, process is just a facade, because the actual healing part comes when you got to make those choices after and be like, man, okay, I've done the work. I've had my time. I was able to feel what I needed to feel. Now it's actually time to take all that and take the actual step of like, yo, what do I need to do? And then it comes with anything with client, and it's really his perspective. And but like you said, it's really the action part that's the most important.
Yeah. And I think those actions, sometimes you could take a step and it'd be like, all right, I took a step out. And then you're like, this kind of feels weird. I don't know if I'm feeling like I like this. But that's when you kind of have to double down on it.
Yeah.
And that's when the feathers get ruffled.
Yeah.
For the people that might have been receiving a version of you that you're not, that wasn't best for you. And when I say best for you, like best for your own peace of mind and your own self-growth. Out of that cycle. But yeah, man, it's interesting, right? Because like you said, growing up, we're taught, and like we got it, like all we have is us, right? So we gotta hold each other down. And I'm not saying that's not important, because I mean, like you said, there's still people that we know we still gonna hold down. But just circling back on just finding the balance for knowing when to say no, but I got you here, maybe. Or if it's not fulfilling, saying no is okay, right?
Yeah. It comes down to that healthy boundary that is just like, it's just respect. It's just like, yo, like, I got you, I got you. And there's gonna be moments where like, I can't get you right now. Cause it's like, yo, it really comes down to, and I had to learn this, it's really empathy, man. You never know what someone's going through.
Ever.
So like, when someone's asking for something, bro, I had people hit me up when I was like really, really low. And it's like, it's like you're at that point where it's like, man, I don't even want to talk about it. It just is what it is. And then there's some like work stuff, and I'm like, man, it's like, nah, I can't do it right now. I don't even have a valid excuse, but I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's dope when you have homies that are like, nah, all right, cool, you good. But then you got some work buddies that you're just like, nah, man, I need you to do this, blah, blah. And it's like, you know, you really want to do it. Like, I knew if I wasn't in this state, I would do it. But it's like, I can't. And it's like, then you feel like that guilt. It's like, man, I should be doing this.
Yeah.
But you know, you're not supposed to. Man, it's like a tug, because it's like, oh man, I want to. Like the people pleaser inside of me, it's like, nah, I need help. They need my help.
Yeah, but even then, right? If hypothetically you do it, aside from it being a step in the direction that you want to go to or not, you're not able to give what you might want to
Yeah.
be giving.
Yeah.
You can only give a
Your
very
heart's not in the right, your intention is not in the right place.
Mm.
Because it's like you're doing it, but you're not doing it with a good heart, or even not even necessarily. You might have a good intent, but you know your heart's not in a good, or your mental space is not in a good perspective, and you never want to work like that. I'd rather just not work, not do the job,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, and make sure when I'm working with someone, they're getting my good energy rather than doing something where, you know, because it's just like us as humans, we think like, oh, we could just suck it up, whatever. But it's like, bro, like,
well, and that's what's taught to us, right?
yeah.
Like, I mean, especially men of immigrants, right?
Yep.
Don't like. There's no there's no processing emotion. Just thug it out. You know, be the man.
Thug it out, man.
Just do it. Nike.
Man, like, bro, I could remember all the times as a kid looking at myself and like, bro, where you just crying and you're just like, man, stop crying, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. And it's not healthy. And it's just, it's ingrained, man. It's ingrained. It's actually crazy. Like, yo, you cry and it's like, I feel bad for crying. It's actually crazy. But it's like every guy out there is like, man, I feel that. Because it's like it's a weird thing.
Yeah, 85 Greatness was had 2 comments. The first one was like, if you're doing it, you're not doing it in the right space. Sometimes it's a disservice.
100%.
Yeah, it's 1,000. I think, because even if it is work based, right, and you put your name on it, and it's not, and you look back and you're like, man, I should not have done that during that time. Or maybe as you're doing it, you're like, I don't want to be doing this, and then you're just doing it just to complete it, and then
because the worst thing you could do is you're in a hurt state because someone hurt you, and then you go into something in that hurt state. It's obviously gonna result in a bad situation, but on top of that, now that hurts even more because you know it's your fault. And that sucks. That's way worse than just getting hurt by someone.
You got to live with it.
Or like a job. Yeah, because it's like you knew getting into this was a bad idea. You knew doing this job with a bad mentality was a bad idea. Now you're stuck there like, man, now I didn't do my job 100%. I didn't treat this person the right way. I wasn't 100% myself in this relationship because I was still in a hurt spot. And now you got to live with the idea that this is 100% your fault. And that just cycles. Hurt people.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing. Speaking of people pleasing, I had to get out of pleasing employers who didn't give a F about me, causing me extra stress and daily headaches, but still bless. See, that's where it comes very hard because it's like there's always a period where you need to just thug it out, right? And it's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah, and I think in those moments, you know, like at work, right? There's some jobs sometimes where you're just like, I got to do this, but I know this isn't forever. And I think that alone, I mean, there was another comment of like, just keep pushing. That can be toxic, right? But having the right intentions on getting through it, knowing that like I said, like when I was working in retail, there were terrible shifts over Black Friday. I would work, what was it, 2 8-hour shifts with 8 hours in between each other.
Jeez.
Round the clock. Never got, I mean, there's probably a class action that we could push for, but like we didn't necessarily get holiday pay on Thanksgiving, but neither here nor there. Those were the moments where I'm just like, bro, I can't wait to not be doing this.
Yeah.
And mind you, we had a decent team, but sometimes there were people there that like I didn't want my productivity to represent because I know they would get the shine for it, and they weren't the ones that should be receiving shine like that because they'd be taking advantage of employees, this, and this. But it's tough working for people like that might not appreciate it, or that might not be showing that love to. But there's still like, I mean, I don't know. I can't really speak on like knowing when to leave or anything like that because honestly, like I navigated out of that situation with a different opportunity. But sometimes you just gotta thug it out and finish.
Thug it out.
But that's not forever, and you shouldn't be doing that forever.
Nah,
because that's when it's like, okay, I mean, because there's still a lot of grind ahead of me. I know that there's still a lot of times where you gotta just grind through it.
It's hard because you
Yeah.
don't want your work ethic questioned, but you're killing yourself for who and what. 100% agree because it's like I know for me, like it's that balance of like because I know for me I don't really care necessarily what other people think, right? But like if someone's thinking something about my character, I'm like, yo, I mean that ain't even accurate. That ain't even. But like, there's those rare instances where it's like, man, I know I'm a hard worker, but it's like you need confidence in yourself and not confidence in other people about the confidence they have with you. And that's where it gets a little tricky because then you just find your confidence in people and other people.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah. And I even think in those situations, right? Don't give them too much. Don't give them that. Don't give them that. What's the word I'm looking for? Don't give them that. That confidence that like that they're feeding off of. That like they're ruffling your feathers, and you're still overextending to work. Do your job. Keep it moving.
Keep it pushing.
Unless it's your thing with your name.
Yeah.
There's never a reason to give more than.
It's never worth it.
No, I mean, it never comes back. I mean, move with good intention, obviously, and like do your job, but like you start then that's when I was, I think, at my worst, was investing so much time in a company that I saw a dead end at and didn't know what else to do, but I was just like, but I did this, and this, and at the end of the day, business is business, unless it's your own thing, unless you build your own thing out, and then,
and I mean that really goes with anything, because like I've never worked retail, thank God. I've been blessed on that part, but I remember a couple years back, I was working with a company that I was on retainer for, and man, on paper, man, they had the vision. They had like, oh, this is dope. I saw like, yo, all right, dope. This is like, they really believe in the creatives here. And I'm like, yo, y'all could really push this. I was building expectations in my head, and I was confident enough in this company where I was like, yo, y'all could grow it into this. I saw the potential and what they wanted. And then, you know, I put my head down and I overextended the hell out of myself. I was just like, bro, F it, man. I'm putting my head down. I'm just grinding. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? These are the hustle days. That's what I was telling myself. And then, you know, a couple red flags pop up with the company. You're like, man, all right. There's talk about bonuses, but you know, that never happened. Hey, man, you know, company moving, you know, all right, you know. And it's like stuff starts changing, and you're like, yo, what is going on? And it gets to a point where it's like, man, no one, from my experience, the vision that I was pushing on this company was my vision, and no one's gonna see your vision the same way. They have it. And it's like, that's when I had to dip, and I was just like, man, I'm about to just go back on my own, man. This ain't right. But bro, I overextended myself so much in that company, and now it was to the point where I go back home, but I didn't want to look at a camera. I was sick of looking at it. I was like, I don't even care about video anymore, man.
Yeah,
This
man.
is trash. Because it's like someone took your vision and your talent and everything and just like tainted it. And it's not even in the fact that they didn't have bad intentions.
Mm-hmm.
I know they didn't have bad intentions, but it's just like, you know, companies will do that. It's just like, yo, it's just how it's just how the entertainment industry works. Where they could take advantage, you just don't know any better. You're ignorant to it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take it.
Oh
Hey
yeah,
man.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, give what you need to give, but don't overextend what you're giving.
Yeah. And it and,
Because
and it's definitely weird because the only way to learn that is by giving too much.
right, I mean, you almost have to experience it because
Yeah.
companies will always take what you're giving.
100%.
Um, and I mean, if you allow it to,
They
any
will.
creative space, any job in general,
They will take.
they will eat you up, chew you thoroughly, and spit you right back out and completely start all over again.
Yeah.
You
They
know?
don't care about your boundaries. They're just like, hey man, you said you're down.
Mm,
Hey man.
right. Appreciate you. Good looking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Oh man.
Somebody asked if I was investing that time because I was people pleasing or trying to escape something else. Because I know I am the queen of leaving my outside life out the door before I walk into work. I mean, honestly, it's kind of tough to call because the job where I felt like most use that, like over from like my own overextending, I was literally 21, 22, 23. So I didn't really know better. But I would say not necessarily, I don't think I was trying to escape anything. I just was so eager to make a name for myself that I was willing to do
Anything.
anything
Yeah.
at 150% because I knew jobs that were outside of a corporate, or not even necessarily corporate, but like creative corporate. I guess that's actually a lot better way to describe that.
It's kind of the idea of like a new law firm is gonna hire the young lawyer fresh out of college. They don't know no better. They could pay him a cheap salary. They don't know.
That's
They
exactly what
don't
happened.
know.
But the fear of going back to a retail job, not knocking that, the fear of going any sense backpedaling I had because I didn't want that to be an option. I wanted only to make the next steps. But when you're brand new in a space, you don't know any better of like, oh, I could take this and go here and then
Exactly.
you know,
And when you don't know any better, the more seasoned individuals that see that
mm-hmm.
could, I mean it.
Yeah, that's just being green.
Yeah, they could see it on you, and companies, clients will just see that on you, like, man, this man don't know, and then it's just like they'll take advantage of you without even knowing.
Yeah.
You just don't know, and especially like companies and stuff, they'll make you feel like, yo, you making the best decision in your life.
No doubt. And I think
this is it.
And with that though, I think there's some boundaries you have to set personally. Because I think you could say like, I'm not doing this, this, and this, and then a company could be like, I bet, peace, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why I'm still like, yo, I mean, don't start wilding out at work, but obviously don't let people disrespect you. But know what you're willing to tolerate. That won't make you feel emotionally drained, emotionally terrible every single day, you know?
And don't go to the extreme, because then there's people like, nah, I ain't working there. I know my value. It's like, yeah, but you need a job.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I mean, this is people pleasing has evolved in different areas of my life, especially growing up, right? Because then you start auditing long-term friendships, even some new friendships that might have been built or based off of a past version of yourself that wasn't your
That's good.
that wasn't in your best interest for your own person, for
Yeah.
your own peace of mind. But I mean, that's why I'm trying to give myself, well, not trying to, but like over this past year, knowing how much I'm changing and how much I've changed and working on myself, I've almost given a lot of people more grace in their own that I don't think I would have held with the whole like
Yeah.
you change mentality. Like I used to joke around with the homies all the time, like,
Yeah.
dang, this, and this, man, you changed, bro. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't even joke like that anymore, just because I know how triggering that used to be for me.
Yeah.
I used to be like, no, I didn't change. I still,
Yeah.
I'm still me. I still, like, but
and that's a real thing.
yeah,
And it's like,
1000%. Especially like,
yeah.
oh, you Hollywood now. This and this. You got the
Yeah.
gold chain on. This and this. You know,
Yeah.
like,
And I mean, like, you grew up in Cali, so I'm sure you've seen it around you to a degree. For me, man, I'm a little good old Springfield. They see me out here posting stuff with Chandler, and they're like, "Yo, oh, okay, I see you with Chandler." I
oh,
see
bro,
I'm
I
like,
know
man.
some. Oh man, I know some of the people that I grew up with in the church. Saw some of that,
Say
and
it
they're
louder.
like, wait, but wait,
Oh man, I see you traveling, but I don't see you here on Sundays.
1,000, bro.
Get
1,000.
out of here.
Like, how did
Get out of here.
blessed?
Yeah, and it's such a weird interaction. Cause
I mean, it used to be, and
'cause
but even then, right? Like sometimes I'd pop in, even though I know the energy or I knew the questions that would come or the comments that would come, but I would do that for the sake of like, oh, I'm still here, like blah blah blah. And honestly, like the pandemic, being able to have all these versions of virtual church, I was like, it almost brought a lot of peace to me because, like, bro, I would get anxiety going into my old church.
Oh, 100%.
Based on,
100%,
I turned into the one that was like, bro, I'll just pop in and sit in the back just because I literally just want to go to church, right? But the whole capital C church, I was so fearful of the conversations that were gonna come. Oh man, you used to this and this here. You used to help with the students. You used to do.
Honestly, on top of that, because those are like the upfront people, you know what I'm saying? Those people that say that are usually used to be homies or used to be closer, right?
Yeah.
But then there'll be all the small talk. People sliding like, yo, man, how you been, bro? I don't even know your name, bro. You don't even know my name. Get out of here.
Oh man.
Damn it. Get out of here. In the love of Christ, but get out of here, bro. Like, it's just like, it's a very, I feel that to my core, man. Because it's just like, then it makes you feel some type of way. It makes you feel a little bit jaded. And it's just like, man, I'd even, and it's just one of those things where you just gotta like, you can't entertain the conversation. It's just like, in my mind, I'm just like, man, you just ain't game. I'm sorry. You just ain't game to the mindset.
Bro, that's one of the reasons why I resonated, or not necessarily resonated, really connected with the whole like Mav City movement. Like watching them ascend, bro, that was the first piece of content that I got to watch that wasn't like a live stream or a live worship set or whatever that put you in the room with them.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like just
it ain't tied to nothing. No one, it ain't tied to anything.
Nah, and bro, that was this is gonna this might ruffle, but
ruffle.
That was the first time where I'm like, and I was having a conversation. One of the homegirls put me on to Map City. I think their second tape. Once they started rolling out the content, pretty much. She was like, because I was like, man, this group of people, even just in the choir, I was like, I don't know in terms of, bigger churches, mega churches, a lot more diverse, or they can be a lot more diverse. But she's like, yo, this is what church is supposed to look like.
Oh, bro, before I started traveling, because all I knew was like local churches, especially here in Springfield. But when I started traveling, I'm like, yo, people be visiting each other's church. Like, there's no one cares. It really just is a sense of community. Like, when I started traveling, like some of my homies in Dallas, it would be like, oh, those are just the Christian homies in Dallas.
Mm.
Like, it's just like a Christian community. It's not necessarily a church. Over here, bro, churches in Springfield, bro, they straight up like gangs. Straight up.
No, they're set. Yeah, bro.
Bro,
Like,
straight up, bro. You can't pull up on their youth service, dog. What you doing, man? You'll get it, bro. Oh my god, bro.
yeah, man. I
You'll get
mean,
cooked. You'll get cooked.
because
You'll get sat
I'm
down,
from the
bro.
suburbs. I'm not from LA. I don't ever claim LA unless I'm talking geographically, and people just don't get it. I'll be like, oh, I'm from outside of LA.
Yeah.
In my current city, right? There's a couple churches, and some more prevalent than others. But the city next to us, they got some churches that started popping off a little bit more, and it was always like, it was never like bad blood or salty, but like the conversation, the subtle jabs, right? Oh, you go to such and such now. How was it over there? You know, it's like, bro,
Yeah.
it's this, bro, it's this the same Jesus, man. Like,
It's the same thing. And you know what it is, man? At the end of the day, it's projection, man.
oh yeah, projection, but also some of those constructs of those conversations
Enable it.
and that's what kind of painted the picture of the perception, the fear of the perception, right? For me, at least, I'm speaking on myself.
Yeah.
That also developed the narrative of like, oh, I'm gonna worry about what people think about me if I do this or if I post this, or oh, this has cussing in it.
Yeah. Oh.
La 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 la.
Oof.
You know, bro, I don't want to post this song because it's not this music. You know, and
let me be real for a second, man. Because it'd be like, man, look, I like me some Maverick City, but man, the worship music I grew up with, mind you, it's fire, man. I love it, but man, sometimes Cole album be making me want to pray more than the worship album, bro. I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all, man. Rap be making me talk to God more than some regular elevation worship music, man. I'm gonna be straight up.
I feel that, bro.
There's just so much. There's just all this.
Are you speaking on like the introspective side of it, like the self-reflection from songs like Hillside or from songs like Hold My Hand?
It's just like, for me, I'm not generally a quote unquote worship music listener, contemporary CCM, because no flag to it. It's fire. I'm not talking about the skill, whatever, but it's just like, bro, at the end of the day, this is music. Music moves people, music, whatever. But it's just like, at the end of the day, bro, I'm gonna sound crazy saying this, but it's just like, bro, at the end of the day, sometimes it just be throwing in a ton of water references with the same 3 chords. And man, hilarious. I get it. Y'all saying Jesus and y'all saying God, but man, sometimes, I mean, it's the same thing with like preaching, man. And it's like, you know, I'm very used to the Pentecostal, whatever. Oh shit, bro. I love the energy. I love the energy. But like, it gets to a point where it's like, I mean, let me phrase this in a way.
Yeah, bro, careful, bro.
Yeah, careful, man. These church people don't be playing. But it's like, okay, it gets to a point where it's like, church is cool, right? Church is dope. We go here to get this, we go here to get that. But at the end of the day, it's a community, right? It's the daily community. It has nothing to do with Sunday. Sunday's just a little forced get together. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I started traveling more and I started seeing these big church cities like Dallas and places like that, I was like, yo, y'all really about your community. Like, y'all really hang outside of church.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, y'all do that? That's crazy. And it's like people from different churches hanging outside of church. Yeah. I'm just like, and it ain't even on like no y'all going to read Bible study, y'all going to do, which is dope, but they're literally just hanging out as homies, man.
Mm.
And for me, bro, like me sitting down here for an hour doing this podcast, having conversation, does me more service than a lot of Sundays.
I feel that.
And it's just like, hey man, this is it just is what it is, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's just a weird so it's a weird thing with the way things are working now with like Maverick City and things like that booming.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, and I think that is opening up more conversations like this, right? With like those movements that are, I don't want to say crossing over, but it's kind of like I think Mav and Elevation, they'll probably catch a Grammy for their joint.
probably.
To be honest with you. But that alone, right? I'm just
Several
saying, like,
words, for
this
sure.
is the first time that I've seen that you can visually see what a collective is made up of, and you'll see some familiar faces in each of them outside of the singers. But for me, I looked at the choir, I looked at the people, right? There's some people that are in their back to back because I think they shoot in Atlanta for the most part. But
it's crazy because like I know a lot of people in the choir and they're just, bro, it's just all homies.
That's what I'm saying, right?
It's literally
And that's
just
when
friends, man.
and that's when my homegirl was just like, yo, Josh, that's what the church is supposed to be.
It's exactly
Because I'm
what it's
just like,
supposed
bro,
to be,
there's
man.
every type, like, I don't know the people personally, right?
Yeah.
But you looking around, you're like, there's that type of person, there's this type of person.
You know when the camera's going off, they're chilling and hanging out.
Oh yeah, they're turning
Like,
up,
they're
bro.
homies.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen their shooting schedule because I almost went to one.
Yeah.
Bro, they rehearse tough before, which makes sense, right? But they're also having it's a 12-hour day, but they're having a great time.
100%.
Like, I don't know, man. It's
special. It's special.
It's definitely special. It's special, and but for me, it's like it's cool seeing that shown at that platform and that scale for the first time.
Yeah.
Because you could find those pockets, right? Like you said, when you experience traveling, you could find those pockets, but it's tough to like. It's tough to immerse in them. It's tough to immerse in them.
Yeah, cause like when you travel, like before Maverick City, before like this new wave, it's like you get a taste of it here and there, but then you got to go back and be like, all right, this is my reality of how things are actually going. So you get a taste of it. It's almost like a tease at that point.
Yeah.
But now, like, you know, that's why it's so dope. Like you said, Maverick City and stuff like that is booming because it's like it's supposed to be like that, and it comes down to empathy, man. We're all just people, man.
Yeah.
We're all just
facts.
Come on, man. We're all just people, man. I ain't trying to. That's one thing that I just like. I'm like, I think Kev was talking about it the other day. He did. I was watching a thing. He said, I forgot what he said, but he said something good about like, about him. You know, like he's finally living for himself. You know, he was too worried about. What was the thing he said? He was too worried about.
Yes, bro.
Living
what the perception, and this is what I'm talking about, bro. And I think it's been cool to have not everybody in our circle, right? But we're all, and it's crazy because Kev is in his late 30s, but this is also a chapter that I'm able to like be a part of emotionally, in the sense of like that's something that I'm working on too, because like and I think that's where that one of those stems from, is like that church perception.
Yeah, man. Dude, for the longest time I felt guilty for not
bro, what?
Worship music.
I felt oh yeah, I mean that too.
Bro, I was just like, bro, I'll sit there and worship music. I'm like, bro, I'd rather be listening to Cole album right now. Hilarious. I'm not really getting anything out of this worship music. And I felt bad. And then it's like, when I heard that thing with Kevin, I was like, man, I'm at a point now in my life where it's like, I am free. And it's just like, man, I know what God's planted in my heart. Yeah. I know that for a fact. So if someone's trying to, I'm not saying there's no accountability or anything, but I'm just saying like, yo, I know what God got. I know
Yeah.
God got me, and I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all tripping over some little thing about this and that, I'm like, bro, y'all just stuck in a bubble, man. There's so many people out here just living life, man.
Facts.
They live in life, man. Bro, I know so many Christian homies who like they only know the homies in the church, and this is crazy to me.
I mean, but I think that's fine though.
Yeah,
it can be fine if that's your thing. That's your thing, right? But I don't think that should be.
No, okay.
That shouldn't.
Let me.
No. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
I'm a rephrase it. If that's your thing, cool.
Because that's a bigger conversation.
They start questioning and judging someone else.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that's
you
not
can't put those parameters on everybody.
Exactly.
But
projection, man.
Yeah, man, projection.
No lie, changes going on. Everyone has a different thing.
This is a good one, bro. My food's here. I'm not gonna lie to you. I ordered some ramen.
Go eat.
It's been at the door for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna have to reheat the broth. No issue at all.
Bro, I just ate some good chicken spinacoli.
Oh, bro, you gotta send me that.
Bro, Uno's. You know Uno's Pizzeria Grill, the chain.
We don't got Uno's, bro.
Y'all sleep, bro. It's supposed to be a pizza spot, but I ordered the pasta, bro. This thing called chicken spinacoli, bro. I made it from scratch one time. It's bro, we should do a cooking live one time, bro.
Dog, what? I'm down. Bro, that'd be fun. Nah, that'd be a lot of work though. We gotta just set the.
Hey man. It wouldn't.
No, it would.
It would. It would be. That would be hella.
Unless I just ran the HDMI. I need like 100-foot HDMI cable. Because
when the channel reaches the state where we're whatever, when the podcast reaches that form, for sure, cooking will be a thing. 100%.
Hilarious. All right, guys.
Yes, it is.
Thanks for pulling up to another episode of Something Creative. Let us know if y'all got any experiences or past experiences with people pleasing or stuff that you're trying to work through. Drop them in the comments below. We'll definitely be up in there looking for more topics, especially stuff that you're working through or stuff that you want to be working through, because we're all working through things, and as creatives or as anybody. Thank y'all for pulling up. I've been one of the co-hosts, Josh Gons. This has been the homie.
Where's Lugo?
Boom. Lugo, let them know where to find you.
Where's Lugo? Everywhere. You could find me at Twitch on Friday, Josh Gons with 2 Z's.
Boom.
Boom.
Appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week.